Starseeds are known to be alien beings from distant galaxies who have incarnated into Earth into human form in order to serve some kind of higher purpose on this planet. In today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about starseeds and how to figure out if you are a starseed. Starseeds are people who are aware of some higher purpose. These are people that are aware that there are forces greater than what we are at play. Their souls are highly evolved and they're highly aware and conscious people, and that is because they possess the subconscious knowledge that there is something greater out there. Starseeds are other entities and other beings that are incarnated into human form. These entities and these beings have already experienced higher dimensions. Most humans on Earth are only aware of the physical plane and the material dimension. However, starseeds are aware that there is more. Many starseeds can have memories of past lives existing in different dimensions and in different realities. Often they can't make sense of these memories. The reason why starseeds have incarnated into Earth is to awaken humanity. There are certain things that starseeds know, and there's certain levels of awareness that starseeds possess that human beings do not have. The only way that human beings will actually evolve and grow spiritually is through the help and the input of these starseeds. The thing is, starseeds do not necessarily know that there are starseeds, but there are many ways to tell whether you are a starseed. Starseeds are people that make other people aware that there is something greater out there, that we have a higher purpose, and there is a higher meaning as to why we're actually here. Starseeds are here in essence to help us transmute to a higher plane of consciousness. Without the input and the help of these starseeds around us, we will not have the awareness and the insights that we need to actually reach this higher state of consciousness. They say that part of the reason why modern humans are as evolved as we are, and ancient humans weren't as evolved, is because starseeds only recently started helping us. It is said that starseeds only recently started coming to Earth and helping us expand our consciousness, and that is why over the last few hundreds of years, we have been evolving more than what we did previously. The reason we are growing and evolving and learning so much as a human species at this point in time could be due to the help of the starseeds. The theory goes that these distant alien beings have seen Earth and they saw the potential on Earth. However, the problem was that human beings weren't really intelligent and aware. They were mainly aware of the material and the physical realm, and that was about it. These beings came to Earth and started teaching us, and they started awakening us to what is out there. And over time, we have become more aware and evolved. So how are you able to tell if you are a starseed? The most common way to actually identify whether you are a starseed is a feeling that you are in this world, but you're not part of it. Starseeds often feel that they do not belong. They feel like they're merely visitors here. They usually don't blend in and adapt to their environment and to other people as easily as what most other people do. Starseeds can be highly isolated people who do not really involve themselves with many things and many people. They feel extremely different compared to other people, and they feel like they do not really belong here. It is said that the more aware and awakened a starseed becomes, the more this feeling of isolation and feeling of not belonging in this world will grow. Starseeds are known to be people who are quite confused about who they are. They're not very self-assured. They don't have a very strong ego. The reason for this is because they're very confused as to why they're actually here. Many starseeds have not actually awakened to their true purpose. And when they're in the state of not being awakened to their true purpose, life can be highly, highly confusing for them. They struggle to blend in with society, and they also struggle to blend in with the structures of society. Starseeds apparently feel a sense of knowing and a sense of recognition when they hear the word starseed or when they are presented with the concept of starseeds. When a starseed hears about starseeds, it makes sense to them and it feels like home to them. Most starseeds, when they are in human form, they will connect with the idea of starseeds very deeply. And it is almost like they're being reminded of who they are. Starseeds have a love for astrology and astronomy, and they're consistently looking at the sky and at the stars. If you're a person who loves the sky, the universe, the stars, then you could possibly be a starseed. Starseeds are people who look at the deeper meaning of things. Starseeds aren't usually happy with the surface explanation. They want to know the real meaning. They want to know what's beneath the surface. Starseeds are always looking to a deeper meaning of life, and they're always looking to a deeper meaning to everything that they're engaging with. Starseeds can feel like the odd one out. They can feel like an outsider and like they do not belong. It can be very difficult for them to make friends and to socialize and to fit in within social circles. Many starseeds actually have a feeling that they need to go home somewhere, like they belong somewhere else. Starseeds are incredibly restless people because they're trying to figure out some higher purpose. They're trying to figure out where it is that they need to be, but they can't always put their finger on it. Most starseeds are highly intuitive and psychic people. If you are a person who possesses precognition, if you have an ability to sense thoughts and energies, and if you have any type of intuitive or psychic powers, then you are most likely a starseed. Starseeds are highly empathetic people. It is very rare that a starseed will lack empathy. Starseeds are highly aware of human emotions. They're highly aware of things like connection. They radiate love. If you're a person who is incredibly empathetic, more empathetic than most people you actually know, then you are most likely a starseed. Animals and children are also often drawn to starseed. Animals and children do not really operate in a level of consciousness than what most adult human beings do. Animals and children are actually able to see into higher and lower dimensions, but the problem is they're not able to communicate this to us, and this is why they seem so confused all the time. The reason animals and children are so confused is because they're actually seeing into multiple dimensions at once. Imagine how difficult it must be to try and operate normally and to try and communicate what you're experiencing while you're experiencing multiple dimensions at once. It's very difficult. If you are a starseed, animals and children will be extremely drawn to you and they will likely love you because they can sense this ability within you to actually sense higher dimensions as well. Animals and children can also connect with your soul and they can sense the essence of your soul. So they will be able to identify whether you are a starseed or not, and they will automatically feel comfortable and happy in your presence. If you are a person who leads a more spiritual life and you have felt a calling to lead a spiritual life where you feel attracted and connected to spiritual values and esoteric arts, then you are most likely a starseed. Starseeds are people who actually connect with spiritual values and spiritual ways of life, and they usually live and breathe this. Starseeds are people who are known as old souls. If many people have told you that you are way beyond your years and that you are mature and an old soul, then you are most likely a starseed. If you feel like you can't connect with people in your own age group, then there is a chance that you're a starseed. Starseeds aren't interested in mundane things. Things like news, fashion, trends, celebrities, and just petty things that do not really expand your consciousness and grow you are of no interest to a starseed. Starseeds can often get very frustrated when they're in the company of other people, and these people are so highly concerned with all these pointless, petty things in their lives. Starseeds usually have this feeling inside them that they have some higher purpose, like there is something great that they need to achieve within their lives, but they usually cannot figure out what it is. They feel this constant drive, this constant need to be on the move and to achieve something, but they never really figure out what this thing is that they need to achieve. Starseeds are people who actually see the motivations behind control, which is actually greed. And starseeds have a very big problem with authority and governments and structure and control. They're usually people that are rebelling against the system. Starseeds are highly selfless people and they love to do things for other people. If you're a person who finds yourself constantly putting other people first and yourself last, then you could likely be a starseed. If you're a person who often sees angel numbers, which are repeating numbers, then you could also likely be a starseed. The universe directly communicates with starseeds through angel numbers. If you experience these angel numbers on a regular basis and you're very conscious of it, then there is a very, very high chance that you are a starseed. It is very difficult for starseeds to ignore certain things. A lot of people are able to kind of just continue their lives and live their lives and block out certain experiences, certain feelings, and certain thoughts, whereas starseeds cannot do this. When starseeds are exposed to certain things, it stays with them forever. Very often, people can say that starseeds are these people who are highly emotional and highly obsessive, and they don't let things go. They let things bother them too much. But the reason for this is because they are so deeply aware that they cannot simply ignore certain things they're exposed to. Starseeds are highly personable and friendly people, and they're so extremely good with engaging with other people. But they're very lonely people, and they prefer to be alone instead of the company of others. Now, what are the different kinds of starseed beings? And what are they all about? What personality traits do they have? Why are they here? And how can you figure out if you are one of these beings? The first type of starseed beings are known as the Sirians. These are people who come from planets Sirius A and Sirius B. Sirius A and Sirius B are known to be the planets that were the initiators of the awakening of all human beings. And when the Sirians started coming to Earth is when human beings actually started awakening. This is when they actually started developing a higher sense of consciousness, and they weren't merely in a state of animal consciousness. Many people say that Sirius A and Sirius B are the planets that actually brought us the ascendant masters like Jesus, as well as the Mother Mary. Jesus and Mother Mary were ascendant masters that awakened human beings. They awakened human beings to a spiritual purpose. They made human beings aware that we are spiritual beings after all. It is said that ancient Egyptians and people who are born into mainly African tribes can be Syrian starseeds. Syrians are people who are naturally drawn to and passionate about history and ancient civilizations and cultures. They're usually people who have a very big love for dogs and wolves. There are people that are very calm-tempered, and it's very difficult to make them angry. It might be tricky for them to actually communicate their feelings and their thoughts to other people, and they can often come off as cold and closed off. But the reason for this is because they do not actually know how to actually communicate what they're experiencing in a way that is understandable to other human beings. Sirians are usually people that are interested in alternative healing, magic, occult, and things like witchcraft. They're known to be people who struggle to maintain connections with lots of people and to have many friends and big groups of friends. And they usually only have about a handful of people that they're close with and only a few close contacts. Sirians are known to be highly creative individuals, and some of the most creative individuals in the history of humanity are said to be Sirians. They're highly concerned with the environment and the Earth and the planet and saving Earth, and they're also highly concerned with all beings on Earth. They usually stand up for animal rights, and they're always trying to save animals in the environment. Sirians are known to decorate themselves with things such as tattoos and piercings. They do not really have that much of a connection to physical form, and they're often adorning and decorating their physical form. Sirians often have a very strong love for the ocean and for water. These are people that naturally connect with the ocean, and they constantly feel a need to go swimming. Very often, oceanic beings like whales and dolphins can approach Sirian starseeds. They seem to just naturally attract marine animals. The second kind of starseeds that you find are the Pleiadians. Pleiadians come from the Pleiades star system. The Pleiades is known to consist of 7 bright stars. It is said that Pleiadians have the ability to exist within multiple dimensions, and when they incarnate onto Earth, they are existing on Earth as well as higher dimensions simultaneously. Pleiadians, just like Sirians, are known to be highly empathetic, gentle, and caring people. However, Pleiadians are a little bit more humanitarian than the Sirians. Pleiadians are the people who are consistently sacrificing themselves and they're putting their life on hold in order to help the world, in order to help society. They're consistently embarking on humanitarian missions and humanitarian causes. Pleiadians are said to be very tall, thin people with blonde hair and blue eyes. Very often they'll have Norse or North European ancestry and DNA. Pleiadians radiate love and they're all about spreading love in this world. They're highly caring and loving beings, and they will do anything to make sure that everyone and everything that they come into contact with is happy and looked after. It is said that Pleiadians have very high cheekbones and strong jawline. Just like the Sirians, Pleiadians are also very attracted to space, the stars, astronomy, and astrology. Pleiadians also have a knack for healing, and they can often be doctors, nurses, and healers within their community, and they have a very strong passion for metaphysics. Pleiadians are usually highly family-orientated people, and they're not like the Sirians that tend to isolate themselves from everyone. They're usually quite close to their family members. Unlike the Sirians, who struggle to communicate and struggle to actually express what they're feeling, Pleiadians are people who wear their hearts on their sleeves, and they're always open and expressive about their emotions and what they're thinking. Pleiadians often feel very different from a very young age. Usually when they're about 2, 3, 4 years old and they're in preschool, they can already feel this sense of being different. The sense of being different literally comes to them at their earliest stage of consciousness. Pleiadians are known to be people who are quite anxious, and they might struggle with anxiety problems as well as food allergies and food sensitivities. They're highly sensitive beings to this environment, and often specific foods and specific things in the environment can make them sick. It can give them bad reactions. So the cluster of stars, known as the Seven Sisters, is located in the constellation of Taurus. It is said that if you have a lot of Taurus placements, that you could possibly be a Pleiadian. And if you have planets in the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th degree of Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, Cancer, and Capricorn, then it is a marking of being a Pleiadian starseed. If you have planets in 0 degrees of Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Virgo, then that is another marking of possibly being a Pleiadian starseed. The third type of starseed beings are known as the Arcturians. Arcturians come from Arcturus. Arcturus is known to be the most advanced civilization in our entire galaxy. Arcturians are known to be way more evolved than human beings, as they are 5th dimensional beings. Human beings are known to be 4th dimensional beings. Arcturians are said to be the prime example of what human beings are meant to be living like. Arcturians have the ability to use both logic and emotion in their daily life and to base their decisions off of this. What is happening to human beings is we are discarding emotion and we are merely following logic when making decisions. Arcturians are here to remind us that we have emotions and we need to consider the emotional side of life as well. Arcturians are known to be the spiritual healers and the shamans in humanity. Most people who are spiritual healers and shamans within this world are likely Arcturian starseeds. It is said that through channeling and through divination, you are actually able to contact Arcturians and you're able to communicate with them and gain advice from them. Very often the stories we hear of people having outer body experiences and meditations where they communicate with higher beings, these beings are actually the Arcturians that they're communicating with. Arcturians are the beings who give higher wisdom about spirituality and the higher dimensions to human beings. This is why Arcturians are known to be spiritual teachers. It is said that when we die, we actually pass through the Arcturian realm. It is also said that Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom, has a house in Arcturus. What are the traits of Arcturian starseeds? These are people that are generally not very shy people, and they're very good at speaking in public settings and in front of large crowds. They're often seen as leaders, and they're people that other people look up to and go to for advice and for wisdom. Arcturians are generally people who do not fear death. They're very big risk takers, and they're not scared of trying things that might potentially be dangerous to them. Very often, Arcturians can seem slightly arrogant and slightly egotistical, because they have a very strong energy, and their energy can actually be very overbearing and overwhelming to other people. They're generally people with highly scientific minds, and they're very good with mathematics and logic. They're generally people who have a knack for recognizing patterns and symbols, and they can have a knack for understanding sacred geometry. Arcturian starseeds are generally known to be people with darker skin. They do not usually have light and fair skin. They can known to be people who are rather controlling, and they like to lay out plans that they like to follow, and they generally get quite frustrated when their life does not go according to plan. Arcturians aren't people who are scared to show anger and negative emotions, and unlike many of the other starseed types, Arcturians are highly expressive about their negative emotions. Arcturians are people who really want to succeed, and they want to accomplish something in this world. They're extremely motivated people, and they have a very strong drive within them to actually achieve success. They're known to have telepathic abilities where they're actually able to read other people's thoughts, and they can sense what other people are thinking. The main goal of the Arcturians is to connect human beings with their spiritual self within a world where technology is going to take over and where technology will be evolving. Without the help of the Arcturians, we'll actually lose our connections with our spiritual self. We'll lose our connection to the spiritual realm and the higher dimensions, as we will become so intertwined with the physical reality. Arcturians have extremely scientific-based minds, and they usually end up in careers that involve science, technology, medicine, and anything that has to do with invention. Arcturians usually struggle to get along with their family members, and very often they can feel like the odd one out in their family. Arcturians generally have strong Leo energy, in a sense where they really enjoy receiving praise, admiration, love, and care from other people. They actually operate at their best, and they're at their happiest when other people are admiring them. Arcturians aren't as connected to and as aware of their emotions as what many of the other starseed types are. They can actually experience quite a few emotional ups and downs throughout their lives, where they actually struggle to deal with their emotions and to process them. Arcturians are known to have highly sensitive senses. They can often struggle with very bright lights, they can struggle with very strong smells, and loud sounds can also be very overwhelming to them. It is said that Arcturians have lower body temperature than your average human being, so they can be a few degrees colder than most people, and they also have lower blood pressure than your average person. The next type of starseed type is called the Andromedan. The Andromedans come from the Andromeda galaxy, which is known as MS-31 or M31. The mission of the Andromedans is to basically stop the control of another starseed race known as the Reptilians. The Andromedans are here to bring back peace and love among humans and to stop the effect of what the Reptilians have done to us. I will talk about the Reptilians later on in this video as well. It is said that Andromedans are quite a rare starseed breed. There aren't that many Andromedans around as what there are other starseed types. Andromedans are known as people who are very good at communicating, and they can pretty much talk to anyone, no matter where this person's from, no matter what their background is or their age or their culture. Andromedans are able to get along and converse with practically everyone. Andromedans are known to be rather shy, and they don't have very overbearing personalities. They can be more quiet and reserved, and they don't engage with others that much. They're highly laid-back people, and pretty much everything goes with them. It is said that starseeds that are from the Andromeda galaxy have auras that are practically white. They can have highly childlike temperaments, and they also age very slowly. They generally look years younger than what their actual age is. The Andromedans are known as silent observers. So these are people who kind of sit in the back and they observe everything and everyone. They look at everything that's going on, but they're never actually directly engaging with it. Most Andromedans will end up traveling and exploring in their lifetime, and most Andromedans are identifiable through how well traveled they actually are. Opportunities to see the world and to travel to many different places will just come naturally to Andromedan starseeds. Andromedan starseeds are the people who find it really easy to literally let go of everything that they have in life and to just pack up and go and explore the world. They can easily become backpackers or gypsies. They often struggle to actually stay in committed romantic relationships. It is very unlikely that you will find an Andromedan in a long-term relationship, as they are highly independent people and they struggle to actually stay connected with people. It is said that Andromedans are tall, thin people, and they actually go bald quite easily. So these are people who do not actually have much hair on them. Andromedans are usually working in the spiritual field or in the artistic field, so they can often be painters, writers, musicians, or they can be astrologers or tarot readers or mystics. The fifth starseed type are known as the Orions. The Orions are highly intellectual beings who come here to help human beings explore subjects and topics that are quite out there and that are quite difficult for human beings to comprehend. The Orions are known to be the starseeds that will help the human race come up with some of the most incredible technological advancements known to us. The Orions are highly intellectual, logical, scientific-based beings, and they have the ability to comprehend concepts and thoughts that we likely will never be able to comprehend without their input. A lot of the medical and scientific advancements that help the human race but are pretty complex are discovered by Orion starseeds. The only thing is, Orion starseeds aren't here to teach us lessons of compassion, love, and peace. Orion starseeds are actually here to help the human race evolve in a scientific and a medical sense. They lack deep emotions of compassion and empathy, but they do possess awareness of concepts and ideas and inventions that are completely beyond us. It is said that when human beings really started evolving in terms of scientific research and discoveries, as well as medical research and discoveries, is when the Orions started visiting us more. The Orions come from the Orion constellation. It is said that the beings from Orion are highly evolved beings and that they've actually incarnated into many other constellations before. So if you are an Orion starseed, you are a soul that is extremely evolved and extremely old because you have actually incarnated into many other galaxies before. So in the Orion constellation, there was apparently a planet called Mintaka. Mintaka has unfortunately been destroyed, and Mintaka unfortunately does not exist anymore. However, apparently a lot of the Orion starseeds come from Mintaka. Mintaka was known to be a planet that was covered with water, and it housed many dolphins and whales and marine animals. If you're Orion starseed, you could likely come from Mintaka, but what I'm going to cover are the Mintakan traits as well as the Orion starseed traits. Bear in mind that in order to be a Mintakan starseed, you need to have the traits of the Orion starseed as well as Mintakan, but you can still be a Orion starseed without having the Mintakan trait. Mintakan starseeds are very attracted to water and the ocean, as well as marine life. They'll spend a big portion of their life exploring waters and the ocean. They have a very, very strong connection with whales and dolphins, more so than other starseed types that also connect with whales and dolphins. Mintakan starseed types have almost like a telepathic connection with whales and dolphins, so they can actually sense their thoughts and their emotions. Mintakan starseeds need to consistently be in water, and they actually feel anxious and out of place when they're not in water. Mintakan starseeds are highly spiritual people, so these will be people who live spiritual lifestyles and are highly aware of spiritual values and spiritual ways of living. Mintakans are known to be slightly more empathetic and caring than most of your Orion starseeds, but they'll be just as intelligent and logical and have just as much as a knack for science. So the Mintakan types are your scientific types, but these are the types who are more drawn to water and the ocean, researching water. So the Mintakan starseed types are like the Orion starseed types in a sense where they're highly scientific, but they'll be more attracted to researching water. Mintakan starseeds are the type of people that will likely dive to crazy depths in the ocean and go and discover all kinds of things at the bottom of the ocean. Just as much as they have a love for water in the ocean, they will have a love for science and research, and they will usually intertwine these two. The Orion starseeds are known to be people that are more scientific-minded people. They do not really let their emotions bother them or get to them, and they're highly driven by logic. They're not very selfish or egotistical people either. Their focus is more on research and development in the fields of science, technology, and medicine, and they don't really focus that much on personal development. Orion starseeds are extremely opinionated. They do not let their values and what they believe change for anything, and no one can really convince them to change what they believe at all. The reason for this is because they usually have a connection with the highest truth, and they usually know what the actual truth is subconsciously. So nobody can try and change their mind because deep down inside, they already know what the actual ultimate truth is. They are extremely evolved beings after all. Orion starseeds are people that are actually very multi-skilled. So they're able to work in many different fields. They're able to specialize in many different topics at once. They have a very high level of self-control and self-containment. They do not give in to their human or animalistic desires that easily. Their emotions also rarely gets the better of them. Orion starseeds find it so easy to work with any kind of science or any kind of technology. They pretty much don't need to be taught these things. They pretty much just get it from the get-go. It is said that Orion starseeds usually incarnate as earth signs, so their sun will be in an earth sign, which is either in Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. It is unlikely for Orion starseeds to incarnate not as an earth sign. They have a very strong passion for learning, and that is the only thing they really care about. They don't really care about relationships. They don't really care about personal success. They don't really care about money. They just want to learn and discover as much as they possibly can. It is said that most Orion starseeds have incredibly penetrative deep blue eyes. The next starseed type are known as the Reptilians. Reptilians are known to be lizard people, and there are actually a lot of conspiracy theories and stories surrounding these lizard people. Another name for the Reptilians are the Draconians and the Sirians. The Reptilians are known to be shapeshifters that want to gain control over Earth and power over humanity. They're known to be a highly selfish race, and they only care about their own personal motivations. They're not actually here to help us evolve and expand and reach peace, love, and happiness. They're actually here to create more greed, anger, and hatred in the world around us. Apparently, reptilians are very hated among all the galactic beings. Because they are so hated, they have to hide and they have to disguise themselves as human. A subtype of the reptilian starseed type is the Draconian. The Draconians come from the Draco constellation. Draco means dragon, and the beings of the Draco constellation have lizard and dragon-like features. There is a theory that there are two types of Draconians. The first type of Draconians are known as the Reptilians, which are the lizard-like shapeshifters who are here to cause evil. And then the other type of Draconians are known as the Greys, and they're here to cause good in humanity and to counter the effect of what the lizard people have done. The Greys are also said to be Draconian, however, the Greys are good Draconians. The traits of the Draconians are the following. They're highly logical people that are drawn to science, maths, and technology. They're usually people with lots of power and authority, and they're usually leaders in their field or within their communities. They usually do not have authority figures above them. They usually are the authority. Draconian starseeds can be incredibly greedy, money-hungry, and manipulative people. These will be people who are naturally attracted to reptiles and amphibians. They can also have quite a love for the mythological creature, the dragon. It is said that many of them will have lizard-like features. They can have thin, long faces, thin bodies. They also tend to have lizard-like eyes and facial features. Their body temperature is also generally lower than your average person, and they are very attracted to the sun. These people love to lay on the beach on a hot day, and they prefer to actually be outside in the sun instead of indoors in the cold. These people are highly adaptable and they're very good at fitting in. They usually find jobs in politics and government and work that gives them a sense of authority over other people, a sense of control over others. These are all traits that are known to the reptilians. The following traits are the traits of the greys. Greys are people whose head size is quite disproportionately large compared to their body. Greys also have hardly any hair on their body, or they'll have very, very little hair. They're very interested in medical research as well as genetic research, and they also usually have lower body temperatures than most people. Greys often end up working in medicine and health, and they can often be doctors and researchers in the medicinal field. Greys are known to be geniuses, and they have extremely high IQs with photographic memories. Greys rarely have blue eyes. Their eyes are usually dark brown, and their eyes can almost appear to be black. The next race is known as the Lyrians. Lyrians come from the Lyra constellation. The story goes that the first human beings actually came from Lyra. There were two races in Lyra. The first was known as the Felines, and the other was known as the Avians. The Felines and the Avians were said to be the beings that came to Earth that actually helped set up the ancient world. So these were the people that were present during ancient Egypt and ancient Rome. It is also said that these were the beings that were here when Atlantis existed. It is said that the Lyrians usually don't exist in a physical form because there are such highly evolved beings. They usually exist in the sixth dimension or higher, but they can sometimes incarnate into a lower physical form. So these are the traits of the Lyran Felines. They have a very feminine cat-like appearance to them. Their eyes can almost be shaped like cats. They're highly exotic people, and they're pretty much keen to try anything. No experience out there scares them, and there's no type of food or beverage that they will not try. These people are highly connected to cats, and they can generally be cat people. Many Lyran felines will surround themselves with many cats in their lifetime. They're highly athletic people, and they really enjoy being active. Lyran felines are said to need much more sleep than your average person. Most of them needs about 9 or more hours of sleep a day. So if you're a person who needs lots of sleep and you have lots of cats around you, you could possibly be a Lyran feline. Lyran felines are very attracted to the lost city of Atlantis, and they can possibly find themselves researching and exploring the lost city of Atlantis at many points in their lives. Many Lyran felines can have visions and dreams in their human lives of drowning and being surrounded with large bodies of water. And the reason for this is because it is said that many subconscious memories from when Atlantis sunk is still stuck in them, and they often re-experience the sinking of Atlantis through their dreams or through their visions. Most Lyran felines are very, very creative and artistic, but they are very scared of water. They have somewhat of a fear and a hatred towards water. They don't like swimming, and they do not like being surrounded by large bodies of water. They find it very difficult to complete projects and goals, and they find themselves being distracted very easily. Most Lyran felines can be rather ADHD. They have an extremely short attention span. It is said that they have somewhat of a cat-like curiosity, so they love to explore places and to discover new things. Most Lyran felines will incarnate into the zodiac signs of Leo and Sagittarius, so their sun will be in either Leo or Sagittarius. The next type of Lyran is known as the Lyran Avian. Lyran Avians are some of the oldest souls out there. These are souls that have literally been incarnating into existence since the dawn of time. Since souls could incarnate, that is when Lyran Avians started incarnating. Lyran Avians find it very easy to travel between different dimensions, and they can often have dreams where they're going to different planes and dimensions, and they can find it very easy to astral project or to have lucid dreams. It is said that they have a bird-like appearance, so they can have a very thin face with a pointed nose and mouth. They can often feel a very uncomfortable sensation or an uncomfortable feeling or discomfort and pain between their shoulder blades where there might have been wings before. Very often, Lyran avians have pain in their shoulder blades permanently. They're said to have a bright blue aura. They're extremely attracted to the color blue, and they tend to surround themselves with blue all the time. Lyran avians are very, very attracted to birds, and they have a deep love and affection for birds. Many of them can be bird watchers, or they can possibly surround themselves with many bird pets in their lifetime. Birds also seem to follow Lyran avians throughout their life. So birds generally aren't scared of these people. Birds actually easily approach them, and birds just tend to actually gravitate towards where they are. Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? These people also tend to really enjoy flying, and they can be highly attracted to air sport. They can be airplane pilots, or they can do stuff like skydiving or paragliding with literally no fear. Number 8 is the Venusian starseeds. It is said that Venus and Mars once held intelligent life. The Venusian starseeds are from Venus. The Venusians are here to teach the human race intimacy, love, and compassion. Venusians are often known to be quite tall and slender people. They are incredibly romantic and passionate people. They're some of the best lovers out there, but they do struggle to stay faithful to one person. Venusians find it very easy to attract many people towards them, but staying with one person can be quite difficult for them. They're incredibly selfless people, and this can sometimes be a problem because they're consistently living their lives for others and doing everything for others, and they're actually rarely considering themselves. These people can be very difficult to tie down. It can be tricky to actually keep them in one place. Venusians are often jumping from one person to another, from one situation to another, one job to another. They actually find it very difficult to stay put in one place or with one person. The Venusians are also here to basically help us get into the new age. They are the people that will teach us the best way of being as we enter this new age. Male Venusians are often very feminine, and they have very beautiful feminine features to them, which makes them incredibly attractive. And female Venusians are incredibly beautiful, and Venusians are often some of the most beautiful people in this world. Venusians are also very good alternative healers. So these are people that are able to use things such as herbs, energy healing, and all kinds of alternative methods of healing to actually heal people. The next kind are known as the Martian starseeds. Martian starseeds are from Mars, and Martians are completely different to the Venusians. Venusians are all about love and creating beauty and sharing this love and beauty, whereas Martians are more focused on accumulation and structure. The story goes that the Martians are so greedy and they're so concerned with form, materialism, and structure that they actually lack any sense of compassion, any sense of spirituality, and any sense of love in their hearts. Because they're such a greedy race, they actually ended up destroying their own planet. The theory goes that if we do not change as a human race, if we do not learn compassion, empathy, and care, we will also likely end up like the Martians. The theory also goes that the reason all these different beings from all these different constellations and galaxies are coming to Earth to help us is because they fear that what happened to the Martians is going to happen to Earthlings. It's almost like there's this massive divine intervention from all the beings in the galaxy on Earth to stop Earth from being destroyed. People who are Martian starseeds are very connected to the planet Mars. These might be people who possibly might want to move there in the near future. Martian starseeds are also more concerned with the advancement of the human race and getting the human race to evolve in a technological way, as opposed to actually focusing on spiritual and emotional values in the human race. Martians have a very big love for fire, and many of them can be arsonists or they can work with fire. The next kind is known as the Polarians. Polarians come from the North Star Polaris. The Polarians were said to be the first actual spiritual beings that came to Earth from a higher dimension. Polarians are also said to be giants. Polarian starseeds are very interested in the evolution of humanity. Polarians are usually way taller than your average human being, and these people can actually be freakishly tall. They are androgynous and non-binary people, which means that most of them actually do not identify with a gender. It can actually be tricky to pinpoint whether a Polarian is a male or female. They can actually have a balance of both male and female characteristics. Polarians possess foresight when it comes to catastrophes and natural disasters. So these people will start acting strange, or they can have a feeling that something bad is going to happen when there is a natural disaster or catastrophe near them. Polarians are highly in tune with the Earth, and they can actually feel the changes in the Earth's temperature, the Earth's environment, and just Earth in general actually happening. It actually pains them when they can see Earth being destroyed. They're also incredibly good mediators. They see both sides to a story, and they love to create peace between both sides. They're incredibly good at relationships, and they're incredibly good at understanding human emotions, and most of them will likely enter marriages that last their entire life. They are extremely good with money, and money seems to just come to them naturally. They don't have to try really hard to become wealthy and rich. They tend to just become wealthy very naturally and easily. The next race is known as the Hadarians. The Hadarians come from Beta Centauri. The Hadarians are a race that consists of purely unconditional love for everything and everyone that exists. They are here to spread unconditional love. They are here to spread love for everything, even if that thing does not agree with you, even if you do not understand that thing. They're here to teach you to love literally everything. It is said that the Hadarians were actually enslaved by another race, and that the Hadarians actually left their planet to escape this enslavement, and many of them actually came to Earth. Hadarian starseeds are people who literally love everything and everyone entirely unconditionally. They have no conditions to their love, and nothing will ever make them stop loving something or someone any less. They're very easily taken advantage of by other people because they have such an accepting, loving nature that is open to everyone. The most important thing to them in their life is their relationships, and they spend majority of their conscious focus on their friendships and their romantic relationships. It is actually very rare to find a Hadarian single. Hadarians are usually in romantic relationships. Very often, Hadarians can come across as gypsies or hippies, and they have this whole free love mentality. Hadarians actually struggle to be single, to be independent and autonomous, and they usually have to be in a relationship in order to feel happy and complete. Very often, they can actually end up in toxic relationships because they do need to be with someone to feel complete, even if it is the wrong person. Hadarians are incredibly empathetic. They actually have the ability to feel the emotions of not only other human beings, but animals as well. They usually come across as extremely shy people. However, over time, as you get to know them, they start coming out their shell. Their goals and their aspirations and their dreams are usually focused and motivated towards bettering Earth and bettering the human race and creating love around them. They usually never have selfish, egotistical goals that is focused on accumulating money and becoming successful. The goals usually involve other people and their relationships. These people make incredibly good counselors, psychologists, therapists, mediators, because they know exactly how to deal with the human emotion, and they also know how to show compassion in any given circumstance. The next race is known as Alpha Centaurian. Alpha Centaurians come from the Alpha Centauri star system, and this is actually the star system that is the closest to our solar system. Scientists actually speculate that there might be a habitable planet in the Alpha Centauri system, which is very interesting. The Alpha Centaurians are a highly intellectual and wise race, but they're not very scientific. The Alpha Centaurians know everything about the meaning of life, the meaning of the universe, just the meaning of everything. They are the wisest race out there. People who are Alpha Centaurian starseeds tend to have a natural love and connection to the color purple. They're usually the smartest kids in their class, and they're often first in their class. They're usually way more advanced than other kids their age, and they actually get incredibly good grades. They're incredibly good at creating, inventing, and building things, and at a young age, they are likely busy inventing things that have never been invented before. The Alpha Centurion race consists of centaurs, so that is basically half man, half horse. Alpha Centurions are usually born into the zodiac sign of Sagittarius, so they will have a Sagittarius sun. Alpha Centurion starseeds often feel like they're way more wise and way more intelligent than everyone around them, but they'll never really say this. They'll never really verbalize this or express it. They'll often feel that they'll come across as snobby and full of themselves if they say that they feel they're more intelligent, so they just usually don't say anything about this. They're incredibly unique thinkers, and they generally do not like to follow trends and to follow the norm. They avoid crowds, and they avoid thinking and behaving in ways that everybody else thinks and behaves in. They really have a problem with herd mentality, and they always try and get out of that. Alpha Centurion starseeds can be quite judgmental when it comes to other people, and they can often observe other people and identify a lot of the mistakes that they make and a lot of the problems that they have. The next type of race is known as the Agarthians. Agarthians are known as inner earth beings. So there is this whole theory that there were beings that existed inside Earth. Apparently, these beings that live inside Earth are now coming to the Earth's surface to help save the planet. Agarthians are environmental activists. These are people who are highly aware of our impact on Earth and the environment, and they're trying to reverse this. There are also people who try to conserve and protect the environment. Agarthian starseeds are quite into cave exploration. It is said that Agarthians are actually fairy or gnome folk. So all the folklore surrounding fairies and gnomes is actually linked to the Agarthian race, and these Agarthians exist inside Earth. Because they're also higher dimensional beings, they're not actually visible to lower dimensions. They say this is why we've never actually discovered Agarthians, because we actually cannot. We do not have the ability to see them or to find them, because we don't actually have the ability to comprehend higher dimensions at this point in time. Agarthian starseeds are usually tall and thin people with elf-like features. Many Agarthian starseeds have pointed ears like elves. So those are all the different types of starseed entities that are out there. Do you believe that you are a starseed, and can you connect with some of the traits that I explained for some of the starseed races? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more astrology and spirituality content, and check out the links to my Patreon in the description to this video if you'd like to support this channel. Also check out the link to my website if you would like to book a reading. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.